eBEFOREi here with another video review, this time of Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, Dead End, Decepticon. Let's take a look at the box. Now, the box on this figure is actually pretty cool. Let's take a look at the animation, at the drawing on this character. This is how, if he ever makes it to the TV show, he's going to look. And man, does he look menacing. That guy looks scary. Like, if you saw him in a dark alley, well, that would probably be the last thing you ever see. Because he'd scare you to death. I don't know, maybe not. But, again, quick look at the box. He's a remold of Wheeljack. So we know how he transforms, but we'll walk through transformation. Intermediate, level 2, ages 5+. Which means if you're 0, if you were just born, you have to wait 5 whole years to open this guy up. But anyway, again, he has double laser swords. Okay, that's cool. Kind of looks like lightsabers. The color on this figure is just insane, and we'll cover that once we open him up. On the side of the package, yeah, Dead End, Deluxe Class, Series 1, Figure 10. Now, on the back of the package, let's read about Dead End. Long exposure to the radiation of Dark Energon has changed Dead End. The formerly talkative Decepticon mercenary now broods quietly in the shadows, staring hungrily at the power cores of his fellow warriors. He's always freaked out the Autobots, but now even his friends think he's scary. That's cool. I like that a lot. Double laser swords. All right, we got all that. Sports car mode. Yeah, I think you've got the idea. This is the box. Barcode and stuff you don't care about. Oh, what figures do they have back here? Another Bumblebee repaint, Shadow Strike Bumblebee, Hotshot, and Arachnid. You know, I'm on the fence on Arachnid. Should I pick her up? I don't know yet. And then, you know, one thing I never noticed before is right above and below the Robots in Disguise text, you've got what look like Cybertronian letters. Very cool. Something that they didn't have to do, and it really makes this package look cool. Now, this is Dead End inside the packaging. Now, I will give you my opinion after we open him up if I think he's worth your purchase or if you should leave him on the shelf. So here is Dead End opened up and outside of his box, and right now we're going to go ahead and take a look at this vehicle and see just if it's cool or not cool. I mean, let's take a look. Now, as I've already said, this is a complete repaint of Wheeljack. So there's really nothing that separates this vehicle from Wheeljack outside of the paint applications on this vehicle. So what you have here is really, even though it is a repaint, it is drastically different looking than Wheeljack. I mean, again, the vehicles are identical, the plastic mold is identical. The only thing different are the paint and the color of the plastics. And, I mean, it looks like a completely separate vehicle. So what you've got here is a nice kind of metallic fleck-based plastic here, and you can see the molding, the little marbling patterns here. You have the green tires. You've got this kind of burnt orange look about him. Again, you've got the green, fluorescent green in the wheels. You've got the very cool green Decepticon symbol. I don't know that we've seen a Decepticon symbol that's this color on any other figure in the past, so pretty neat. I may be wrong about that, so don't just lay off. I may be wrong, but it looks pretty cool. Now, on the back, you don't have painted taillights, and that may be a turnoff for some. But I'll tell you, with the back, you still have kind of a two-toned. The taillights themselves on this car are black, and above it, you kind of have a brown. I don't know how well that comes across here. Probably not very well at all. But this is more of like a dark, kind of really dark brown, and the taillights themselves are black. So they do kind of differentiate themselves from each other. Looking underneath the vehicle, you have weapon storage. Again, the same exact mold, so everything's the same except the colors here and the head sculpt, which we'll talk about. And, you know, the thing that I like about the weapons on this guy is it kind of look like lightsabers. I mean, it's got that fluorescent look and the black handle, but again, we'll look at that more in robot mode. Now, to compare him directly with Wheeljack, So what you see right here when I compare the two is, again, the mold is exactly the same, but you've got drastically different paint. So on Wheeljack, you have this kind of pattern, the orange and green pattern, or the red, and I guess it is orange, that kind of comes up to the front. And here you just have this arrow. Again, there's no plastic that's different here, but you've got radically different paint, which set these vehicles apart from each other. Looking at them side by side on the table here, you get an idea that, again, same mold, but it gets there two completely different ways with the paint. So I'm not, as I've mentioned in the past, I'm not a huge fan of repaints. I'm just not. But in this case right here, I really think that you're getting something that is very much unique to the figure that it was based off of. That was true with Hotshot, and it certainly is true so far in this review with Dead End. Now, let's get him transformed into robot mode and see if the unique characteristics carry over after transformation. Okay, so to transform Dead End, the first thing that you want to do is you want to grab him just like this, like you're going to play the Xbox. You want to grab him like an Xbox controller and just kind of pull down, and you'll have this whole front end sort of separate from you. Alright, then what you want to do is come back here, and you want to just pull apart so that the whole arm assembly, and I would do it from the shoulders, right near the Decepticon symbol, give it a pull. You got the arms pulled out here, and if you want to get them ready for transformation for a bit later on, just go ahead and flip them both up, just like that. Alright, next what you want to do is lift that whole assembly, come down to what his legs are, and I guess we should unpeg the weapons. So unpeg, toss those to the side. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to take the legs, or the front of the car, and just separate it. Okay, it's pretty easy to do. Just grab this part, which actually ends up being his foot, and you want to give it a push inward so that this whole piece swivels around and kind of snaps into place. There's a tab on the back, and you can see that that little black piece slots right there into the orange tab. Okay? You want to come around here and do the same thing to the other side until it rotates, just like that. Lock it into that tab. Okay, next, you're going to take this front portion of the vehicle, you're going to slide it up, just like that with your thumb, and then you're going to rotate it over to the side. Do the same thing on the other side, push up, rotate to the side, and then you're going to take what turn out to be his feet, and you're going to just move it like that. Just like that. Piece of cake. Come back around to the front. You're going to rotate these legs like this. Rotate again on that joint. Pull out the little knee spurs. Basically, you've built the whole bottom portion of the car. Now, to finish transformation, what you're going to do is you're going to come out to the top right here, and you're going to separate by pushing down. Alright, and that's going to reveal his head. Alright, and then you're going to take this piece, and you're just going to take your thumb, and you're going to push his head up. Just like that. And you got a head reveal here. Then you're going to take these two little wing bits, and you're just going to separate them with your hands and pull them apart. Alright, now before you can snap this chest down into place, you need to come around to the arms, and you need to lift that whole assembly up, and there's a swivel joint right in here, and you want to get that up as high as you can while pulling the arm down, and I'll tell you why. Because when you get this thing up, you're going to find another tab. Surprise, a tab on a transformer. You want to take that yellow tab right in there, and you want to slot it into that orange hole. So I'm going to bring it up as far as I can, and you'll hear the little snap, and you know that it's in good shape. I've got it there on both sides, so we're good. Now the last step in finishing this figure is to take the arms, grab it by this green piece of plastic, pull it down, swivel it around, and pop it back in. Straighten out the hand, do it on the other side. Pull out, swivel, push back in, straighten out the hand. And finally, you want to take this whole arm assembly and you want to pull it down and kind of raise that up with your thumb and bend it right there at the elbow. So again, pull it down, bend it with the elbow, and here you have a finished transformation of Dead End. Now, the only thing left really to do is to take his weapons and decide what you want to do with it. So for me, to set this guy apart a little bit from Wheeljack, I like to stick one of them here in this side peg. which you could have done in vehicle mode. I didn't cover that, but, you know, why do I need to? I mean, really. There's a hole, there's a peg, slot it. And on the other side, I'll stick this one right in here. And there we have Dead End in his robot mode. Now, taking a look at this figure in robot mode, you can see that he is really a heck of an interesting looking guy. Again, he is a complete repaint other than the head of Wheeljack, but the colors really set this figure apart from Wheeljack. Going around, again, you've got the Decepticon symbol on the shoulder. If you want to tilt this thing down more to expose it, you can. I generally like to keep it up a bit, but it's your toy. You do what you want to do. Looking around at the sides, again, the same, but the color scheme makes this guy look really a lot different. Now, you've got more yellow that's popped out than what you had in vehicle mode. You've got some green tint in the hood and green trim, green on the Decepticon symbol. The wheels still have the green, and it's really a fluorescent green, and it's kind of neat looking. When I first saw this figure, the first thing I said to myself was, disgusting. I mean, look at the colors. Why would anyone want this? When you have this figure in your hand, it's a completely different story. He's actually a very interesting looking figure. It's not as disgusting of a set of colors as you might think, and it works very well for this figure and the background of this figure. Now, the one thing that's very different is the head sculpt, and I want to get real close and personal with this thing so you get a feel for what you're getting here with this toy. Now, as you can see, this guy is very menacing looking. I mean, look at that. His mouth is wide open as if he's screaming at you. He's got light piping, which is fantastic. His whole mouth and eyes light up, which we'll go into a dark room in a minute and show you that detail. But you've got orange on top of the head. You've got the light piping here on the back. His neck sits on a ball joint, so you get some good movement and posing out of this head. But this guy looks absolutely terrifyingly intimidating. So I think that the sculptors have done a fantastic job grabbing a head sculpt to make essentially a clone of another character, slab on a fresh coat of paint and plastic colors, give him a new head sculpt, and get a completely different feel from the Wheeljack color that he emulates. Now, holding them side by Wheeljack, again, they're very similar because, as I've been saying over and over, they're the exact same mold. But, that being said, I don't see an issue even displaying these guys side by side because of the head sculpt and the colors. To me, I mean, it really looks completely different. So I really think that you could put both of these guys on your shelf, one on the Decepticon side, of course, and one on the Autobot side, of course. But if you do that, you're going to end up just fine. No one's going to look at it going, oh man, another goofy repaint. I think, in this case, no one's going to say that because these two are very much separated both by color and their heads, and that's pretty much the way that it goes. Now, let's take a look at light piping. We're going to go off into a very dark room known as the closet. Yeah, we're in the closet. So, anyway, I wanted to show you what this guy's light piping looks like in the dark. So, I'm going to turn off this light. Ooh, now it's really dark. Of course it is. And I'm going to shine this thing back here. Take a look at that. Can you see that? Is that coming across on camera? That is horrifying. If I saw this on Halloween night, I would still run because I would know that this is nothing human. This thing would come after me and suck the life out of my brain. I mean, look at him. His whole mouth is light piped. His eyes are light piped. He looks like a terrifying skull that's going to laugh at you as it tortures you and eats your head, your hands. It just eats you. It's just going to eat you because that is terrifying. Okay, we're back, and one thing that I wanted to show you again is the way that Dead End stacks up against his movie Dead End character, which really was an odd-looking figure as well, but he more closely resembled earlier toys of the Dead End figure. That right there is Dead End from the movieverse. Oh, freaky! I know, I get it, freaky! The color scheme more matches the original toy of Dead End, more so than this. I have no idea who was sitting at the Hasbro roundtable and said, you know what we should do? We should take this character and throw on fluorescent colors and a menacing head sculpt, and let's call him Dead End. I don't know how they got to that, but I'm glad that they did, because although this character is unique, you know, he's got the movie traits that, you know, I never really loved. He's got the chicken legs, or I kind of call them cricket legs, but he's got those funky legs like a lot of the movie characters had. He kind of looks like an Insecticon, and so I guess in that respect it's kind of cool with the way that the wings came out. But this guy looks absolutely nothing, in no way, shape, or form, not one piece, not one design characteristic carried over to him, and in this case, I'm okay with that. Articulation on this character is the same as Wheeljack. We won't go into a lot of it, but again, I mentioned the ball joint head. Shoulder here is on a ball joint. He's got actually shoulder hinge and elbow hinge. His hands move, ball joint on the legs, swivel left and right. He's got this other piece here that gives you a wide range of motion and movement. You've got motion on the feet, so you can get a wide range of poses on this character. So, is this figure worth your purchase? Or should you leave it on the shelf? Absolutely worth your purchase. Run to the store if you see him, and I have yet to find him at the store. I got him on Amazon.com at retail price. If you see him at the store or want to shop Amazon, do so, add this guy to your collection, and you will not be disappointed of this version of Dead End. This has been eBEFOREi Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see and want to support this channel, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and feel free to comment away in comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Again, thanks. We'll see you next time.